In the meantime, I think we can get started because we are at time. Okay, so I would like the presenters to go ahead and introduce themselves. Also, some of the translators, please introduce yourself as well. Okay, all right, go ahead. You guys have the floor.
Hello everyone, my name is Sudha and today I'm going to be one of your presentator and Carlo is going to help me out and Maria is going to help me out too. And here like Amelia and Mariana are going to be translators for my presentation. So today we are going to discuss about the plant-based diets. So I just want, okay, thank you. So the a little bit of background about me. Hi Lulu. So I'm born like vegetarian, most like lacto vegetarian. You can say. Next slide, please, Carla.
Oh, could you give Amelia just a moment just to talk?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Amelia.
Hola, este es un taller de dietas a base de plantas presentado por Sudha.
So here are some types of plant-based diets. So I'm a lacto-vegetarian. That means like a plant-based, it's a plant-based diet with some dairy, but no meats or animal by so I'm sorry. So the thing is like I don't eat meats. I don't eat meat, fish, any seafood or any like but I can eat dairy, but I don't eat any sort of any sort of meats. I never ate and I don't have any plans to eat too. Go ahead, Amelia.
Dice Sudha que ella es lacto vegetariana y que ella come una dieta a base de plantas con algunos lácteos, pero sin carne o otros subproductos animales.
And there is another type of plant-based diet. It's a vegan. So the vegan people, it's a pure vegetarian, you can say. So it says like plant-only diet without any use of animal meat, animal byproducts such as dairy, honey, meat, eggs. So basically, the lacto-vegetarian and the vegans, they only have the difference is the lacto-vegetarians, they drink the dairy, milk, cheese sort of thing, but vegan, they don't even eat that too. So, Amelia.
Uno de los tipos de dietas solo que comen puro vegetal se llama vegana o vegano y es una dieta solo de vegetal sin uso de carne o subproductos de animales como carne, huevos, lácteos y miel.
Carlo, you want to go?
Yeah, so pescatarian or vegetarian. So this is a plant-based diet with some seafood and some fish, but typically it can either include or not include other animal meats and sometimes no animal byproducts. So it really depends on the individual, but mostly it's plant-based with some a seafood or fish. And then we have ovo-lacto-vegetarian is a plant-based diet with some animal products such as eggs and dairy and sometimes honey. So you can tell all these are mainly plant-based, but there are some differences between all of them. But for today's subject, a lot of the perspective is going to be from lacto-vegetarian perspective, since Sudha is lacto-vegetarian in definition. So just be aware of that. We do have a couple of folks within this room who are plant-based eating people as well, different categories and different definitions. So, oh, sorry, I just realized I don't have my video. Just be aware of that. Not all of this is going to apply for all these different types of vegetarianism, but we're going to learn a little bit about it from each other today. So hopefully this has been a little bit informative. Amelia?
Otros tipos que son dietas base de plantas, pero se llama pescatarian y vegetarian. Es una dieta a base de plantas con algunos pescados, mariscos, pero sin otras carnes de animales o a veces sin subproductos de animales. Y aparte, ovo lácteo vegetariano, una dieta a base de plantas con algunos productos animales como huevos, lácteos y a veces miel.
So actually, now in this slide, like we are going to discuss about animal products impacts on health and environment. So, Carlo, you want to go first?
Sure. So we're going to go a little bit more into health when it comes to the consumption of animal products, but that's going to come in the next couple of slides. But what I would like to talk about today out of this slide is the environment and the financial costs of eating and producing animal products. So I'm pretty sure you're all aware that, producing animal meat and producing animal byproducts is very harmful to the environment. It contributes to the amount of carbon that has ended up into the atmosphere, and it's also polluted our waterways when it comes to waste, animal waste. And so, and also it takes a lot of resources when it comes to actually raising these animals, both from growing the food, which takes a lot of water, giving them water. We're also, we have to think about the welfare of the animals that are being brought up for consumption as well. They, not all places have really strict rules when it comes to this, and so we never really know whether or not animals are uh, treated well and respected and not having to suffer. So that's one of the things you have to consider when it comes to eating meat. In terms of the financial costs, meat itself is pretty expensive, especially animal products are pretty expensive just because of the amount of resources that go into raising them. But also you have to think of the financial cost when it comes to your health. So eating meat has been attributed to the increased likelihood of different types of diseases, a lot of dietary diseases. And so you have to think about when you're eating, it's an investment into your health, right? Because when you're eating, you're hopefully eating healthy food, which in turn means that you'll have less chances of diseases and a longer life. But with meat eating, it increases your chances of cancer, especially, and other diseases, whether it's heart disease, diabetes, by a lot just by adding these foods into your diet. And so you end up spending so much more on a resource that's animal meat and animal products that uses a lot of our resources, water, land, and also what happens to your health, because in the end, you'll end up actually having to pay a lot more when it comes to your diseases that are attributed to eating a heavily meat-based diet. So, Amelia, I know that was a lot. I apologize. Go ahead and try to translate as much as you can.
Can you go to the next slide? I think that had like some information about what you were talking about.
The health. So we're going to go over that in a moment. Can you talk about specifically what I talked about in the environment and the financial costs?
Oh, yeah. Impactos de los productos animales en salud y medio ambiente. En la salud, es muy probable que cuando comes una dieta de carne, que te puede subir el riesgo de más enfermedades. Y del medio ambiente también tiene muchos riesgos, como mucha polución en la agua y en el medio ambiente. Y balance ecológico. Can you repeat what you said about balance?
So we haven't talked about that yet. Sudha is going to talk
Okay.
about that in a moment. So go ahead and talk about the
All
financial
right.
costs.
Y costos financieros como una dieta a base de carne, como todo tiempo sale mucho más cara, como pues sí, te va a salir más cara si comes una dieta a base de plantas y verduras. Y también al último, si te sube el riesgo de enfermarte, también te va a salir más caro con eso de la salud. Y pues yendo al doctor también no es barato.
Sudha, do you want to talk about the ecological balance? I have to help Nella real quick get into this room, but go ahead and continue on with that part, okay?
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you, Amelia. I'm sorry. So today actually I'm going to excuse me. I'm sorry, that was my kid. So today I'm going to discuss about thank you so much, Carlo. Actually, you just gave me a bit of like introduction already about the ecological balance. So the ecological balance means like, the nature, it has to be balanced. Otherwise, like, everything is going to be fall apart. Like when it comes to environment, like we need to balance. So when it comes to non-vegetarians, I'm really sorry, no offense to any non-vegetarians, but it's just like, I'm just stating facts and all. So the carbon footprint is twice is about to veg and vegan diets when it comes to non-vegan and non-vegetarian diet. So the thing is like when it's going to imbalance means like, because when they're fishing, the marine animals, like, marine aquatics lives, like, they're going to be go away, maybe not now immediately, maybe next 100 years or something. That's how like the scientific, like, the scientists, they're just trying to be balance the nature. Because of this imbalance in the nature, like all these, what is it, like global warming, like, you can say earthquakes, or like not the human made wildfires, but some wildfires, like, and like we don't have proper rains. So it's all caused by ecological balance. You go ahead, Amelia.
Okay, sorry, my baby's being like extra fussy today.
Oh, that's okay, Amelia. If you want Mariana to take over, she can do
Yeah,
it.
sorry. I think so.
Thank you, Amelia. Mariana, it's your turn.
Yes. So, perdón, estaba hablando Sudha una pequeña introducción acerca del balance ecológico que podemos tener, aportar cuando decidimos cambiar nuestra dieta y también un balance en nuestra salud.
So the carbon, I wanted to give you a better picture on the carbon footprint. So carbon footprint means like, the greenhouse gases like such as like methane, like carbon dioxide, like, it's okay. In simple terms, the carbon footprint means because of this wastage of the like meats and everything. So whatever the vegetarians and vegans produces the waste and all, like, if we are going to throw the vegetables or leafy vegetables, like sort of things, they're going to how can I say, like they're going to dissipate in the soil very much easily, and it's not going to harm any thing, but when it comes to like the bones, like the non-vegetarian waste, so it's going to give the double, like it's going to produce double wastage than the vegetarian and vegans food.
Go ahead,
Mariana, your
Mariana.
turn.
Ok, sorry, estaba esperando por Amelia. Entonces, lo que Sudha dice es que el modo que afectamos el medio ambiente es más desperdicio el que provocamos cuando tenemos cuando nuestra dieta está basada en carne, tanto roja como blanca. Y el desperdicio es doble que si tenemos nuestra dieta vegana o vegetariana.
Next slide, please, Carlos. So the benefits of some of the benefits of the plant-based eating less animal foods result in less chance of a reduced severity of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, chronic inflammation, autoimmune diseases. These are the some of the benefits of plant-based diet, plant-based eating. But it's not the thing is like vegetarians and vegans get all these above, the diabetic or obesity or cholesterol. It's not like we are not advising that because of the plant-based we are not going to get any of these. So there is that. Mariana.
Do you want to go ahead, Amelia? Amelia, is your mute.
Sorry about that. Los beneficios de la alimentación a base de plantas. Comer menos alimentos de origen animal tiene como resultado una menor probabilidad de o gravedad reducida de colesterol alto, presión arterial alta, diabetes, enfermedad cardiovascular, diabetes, obesidad, cáncer, varios tipos, inflamación crónica y enfermedades autoinmunes.
Next slide, please, Carla. So the benefits of plant-based eating more whole, minimally processed. Actually, I wanted to get into that in a bit. So eating more whole plants results in better microbiome health, more fiber, more sense of fullness with fewer calories, more phytonutrients. So you can go ahead, Amelia. I can continue after that. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. You're on mute, Amelia.
Sorry, los beneficios de la alimentación a base de plantas. I'm so sorry. Comer más plantas enteras mínimamente procesadas da como resultado mejor salud del microbioma, más fibra, más sensación de plenitud, con menos calorías, más fitonutrientes.
So when it comes to I have been a vegetarian, because the lacto-vegetarian is a new term actually for me also, because I'm just thinking I'm strictly vegetarian from my by birth, you can say. So it's all because of why I'm following this. It's all spiritual and religious aspects. It's only it's my perspective. Just give me a second. I'm so sorry. So religious. So when it comes to like, I'm an Indian. So as a typical Southern Indian, I'm just came from a very strictly vegetarian Hindu beliefs, and I have never ate any products that wasn't grown under the sun. Like, so mushrooms are out of the question. You want to go ahead, Mariana? Or like, do you want to go through all the slide, Carlo?
Lo que comparte Sudha es que ella es de India y de donde ella viene, ella creció como con una dieta vegetariana estrictamente. Y las bases de su dieta son espirituales y religiosas. En el aspecto religioso, como un típico sur de la India proviene de creencias hindúes estrictamente vegetarianas, nunca he comido productos que no se hayan cultivado bajo el sol, porque los hongos están fuera de discusión. Esto incluye los hongos. En el aspecto espiritual, nunca lastimé a ningún animal con el proceso de comer nuestra propia comida. En la religión hindú adoramos a las vacas, son muy sagradas y honradas. Es ilegal matar una vaca en algunos estados de la India. Otras religiones y creencias que practican el vegetarianismo son budismo, jainismo, rastafari y cristianismo en Cuaresma.
Okay, so when it comes to spiritual aspect of mine, like, in Hindu, like I'm from Hindu religion, so never hurt any animal in the process of eating our own food. So in Hindu religion, we worship cows. That means like, they're very sacred, and we honor like a Thanksgiving here. Like we do have a special prayers and pujas for cows. And on that day, like we are going to, especially it's like, it's a day for cows. Like we are going to worship them, and we are going to garland, like we are going to give them garlands. We are going to put basically we are going to worship as we are worshipping the gods here. So it's illegal to kill a cow in some states of India. Like, you will get jail time. You will get like penalized, like, you will get a penalty in some states, and you will get like jail time, like maybe like a 1 week or 15 days, something like that. It's strictly forbidden to kill cows in some parts of India. So some of the other religions and beliefs that practice
Oh, 1 second.
So
okay, there you go.
I did it. So the thing is like Buddhism, Jainism, Rastafari, Christianity, Lent. So in Buddhists and Jains, like I know Jains, they don't even eat onions too. And Buddhists too, the thing is like, my ancestors, like you can say like, 2-3 generations before me, they didn't even eat any kind of like root vegetables.
A las 12 entras, ¿no?
Any kind of root vegetables. Because like we have to, our belief is like we have to eat any vegetable that has to be grown in the sun. You want to go ahead, Mariana, or you already covered, right?
She went through most of it already. So,
okay. So these are like, some very famous Indian leafy greens and spices. Like, we do have like different parts of India. Like we have north, south, east, west. But like mostly we have like all these, like some of the leafy vegetables are like, they're common for all Indians. So some of them are like fenugreek, like you might have heard of it. So we call methi, curry leaf, kadi patta, moringa, drumstick tree, shajan, spinach, purslane, mustard, cilantro, and many more. And I just don't want to get into like all the leafy vegetables because we have so many and we don't have time. And some of the spices you might have like, seen in Costco or like any grocery store, we have turmeric. Like you might have seen like turmeric drinks or like, antioxidant, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, like these kind of drinks you might have seen in Costco. But in every, like whatever we are going to either breakfast, lunch, or like, even in some desserts, like we are going to add this turmeric. And we have cumin and a star anise, like cardamom, asafoetida, like we say asafoetida. So some of the spices, when the plant becomes like, some of the above spices, they can turn into a leafy vegetables. For it, when it comes to like, mustard, like it's going to give us a sarso, like it's a green leafy vegetables, like the small seeds. If we are going to plant it, it's going to give us the leafy vegetables, just like spinach. And fenugreek seeds, that methi, the fenugreek one, like we say methi, it's the best for the diabetic. Because in like, in India, like my dad, he's a type 2 diabetic in India. So what he does was like he always do like, overnight he just soak like fenugreek seeds in yogurt, and in the morning he just going to like, like he just eat it. Like it controls your blood pressure, your blood, like, the bad blood will goes off, and like the diabetic will get in control. Go ahead, Mariana.
Do you want to go, Amelia?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Especias y verduras de hoja india. Verduras de hoja de la India como fenogreco, hoja de curry, moringa, y al lado están como las pronuncian en India, y no las quiero pronunciar porque no sé si las voy a decir bien. Espinacas palak, did I say that right?
Yes.
Verdolaga, mostaza,
Sarso.
zarzo,
Ajá.
cilantro,
Dania.
danilla
Dania.
y muchos más. Algunas de las especias que usan mucho en cocinando son como la cúrcuma, haldi, comino, jira, anís estrellado, anís star, cardamomo, elaichi, resina de goma asafoetida. Algunas especies cuando la planta se convierte en vegetales de hoja, como el fenogreco.
Next slide, please, Carla. So these are the some of the spices or like leafy green vegetables. So you can see like left side is the fenugreek one, and the leaves next to is, we called it like methi, and those are the ones I told you about, like, the seeds you can eat like overnight soak in yogurt, and like in the morning if you eat it, like it's going to control your diabetes, like, but it's not a replacement for your diabetic medicines, but it's just like, we are just supporting the medicines. And the leafy vegetable methi, like we put it in, like you might have eaten it, like we say like aloo methi is a curry, it's a very famous curry in Indian like menu. And like we have dals, like we have and then we have curry leaves. Actually these curry leaves are like, it's more you can say like it's we used on like southern India, like we do have 5 states in South India, so we use it mostly. And moringa, and you might have know like moringa, We just used it as like curry, or like we just mostly like mix it up with the dals. And purslane, like cilantro, you know it. And the very very important one in Indian cuisines is the turmeric. So they have like both like roots and the powder. We mix it up, like, it's a the home remedies, like we usually use it for the kids, or for the adults we just mix it up with the milk, with the turmeric. If you're cold or cough, or like, it's basically like it gives you antibacterial, it has antibacterial and antioxidant properties. So we just used it like very nicely in all our curries, or the breakfast or lunch or supper or snacks. It's a main ingredient, you can say. And star anise, basically you might have heard of like biryani, like the biryani, it's a very famous in Indian cuisine. So these cardamom and the star anise and the bay leaf and couple of other more spices, like, it's going to oozes the flavor out of the biryani, and it's very tasty. Next slide. Okay, so this is like, the typical Indian means, like, my day looks like. So it's a breakfast with idli, dosa, puri with coconut chutney, or peanut chutney, or potato curry. So we do have, so for breakfast, like, we I try to add a, because the potato is like favorite to my kids, so I try to add potato as much as possible, because it's anyways it's becoming, it's one of the vegetable. So lunch, like, we do have, like, in southern India we do eat the curries with the rice, but in northern India they do eat everything with the rotis, or like, you can say roti or chapati, something like that. So with the chutney, and chutney, like, we prepare chutneys with eggplant, bottle gourd, like Indian squash, or I prepare, like, the chutneys with methi or like curry leaves. And the curry is going to be like bitter gourd. You might have heard of like bitter gourd. It's very sour in taste, um, but it's really good for diabetic, like, diabetes and diabetic patients. So snake gourd, taro, okra, and tindora. So dals, like legumes with tomatoes or any Indian leafy vegetables, because the dals usually go with like leafy vegetables or tomatoes. And sambar, like, it's a like soup, you can say, but full of vegetables, like, you can put like drumsticks, you can put like snake gourd or bottle gourd or tomatoes, any sort of, basically any sort of vegetable goes with that. And the desserts with like carrot, beetroots. And then, like, our diet doesn't fulfill with, like, yogurt or buttermilk. So we have to have, like, either buttermilk, like we are going to have a nice glass of buttermilk, or we are going to put some yogurt in rice and we are going to mix it up with some salt and we eat it. And the snacks, it's a world famous samosa, you might have heard of it. Like, it has like potatoes, green peas, carrots, cilantro, like so much, means so many vegetables, like, they're going to put everything in that, and we are going to make a nice like triangle, and like it's a samosa, you might have heard of it, with chai or tea, like and the chai and tea, like you can say like chai latte, because we usually take like either coffee or tea with the milk, like, we don't drink like, the green tea or something, but it depends on everyone's choice. And the dinner, like, with the roti, and The roti means like it's a wheat flour with any curry, like because anyways the leftover curries will be there in the lunch. So we are going to put it in like, roti and like we are going to eat it. So we use over 19 types of legumes and dals in our like, daily life. Not daily life, like in our like diet, you can say. Next slide, please, Carlo. Thank you.
Este es un menú a base de plantas de la India, como que Sudha y su familia comen como en un día. Por ejemplo, como el desayuno, se llama idli dosa puri con chutney de coco, chutney de cacahuate, curry de patatas. Y en almuerzo, arroz con chutney, berenjena, calabaza de botella, calabaza india. Y curry, calabaza amarga, calabaza serpiente, taro, quimbombo, tindora, etc. Dals, legumbres con tomates o cualquier verdura de hoja india. Sambar. Sorry. Como sopa llena de verduras. Y como en postres con zanahoria. I'm sorry, if Mariana could just take over.
Ya, entonces estaba en el área de postre con zanahoria, remolacha, etcétera, y yogur, que es el suero de leche. También como aperitivos, la familia de Sudha comen samosas y que estas pueden estar rellenas de papa, guisante, zanahoria, cilantro. También con chai, que es este té lleno de especies. No sé si lo han probado, es muy rico. En la mezcla de especies lo hace muy rico. Está también para la cena, comen roti. Este es como un pan hecho de harina de trigo y lo comen con cualquier curry y lo usan más de 19 tipos de legumbres. Dals, que lo usan mucho en su cocina.
So these are the like, typical breakfast, like the puri or like roti or like idli and dosa, because we do have so much stuff. Like it's like, the puri is like basically like soft, how can I say, like soft taco, you can say. So it's just like that, but like, it has like different types of flours we use. So it's a rice, and these are the couple of like vegetable curries. Like you can see the palak, it's like shahi paneer in the middle, and like, two rices over there, and one of the, it's like, roti, and these are the dals I told you about. And like this is a dal. We do have like, over 19 legumes or dals, you can say. So we can mix and match, like it's enough for like lifetime, I can say. So, and this is the sambar I told you about. It's, you can see like, it's full of like vegetables. Like, even though if you're going to put like 6 or 7 vegetables in that, like, my kids, they always eat like the carrots for sure. And like, if I start yelling on them, then they eat like everything. So, and then yogurt and the samosa and the roti. I'm hungry already. Okay, you want to go ahead, Mariana? Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. That's okay. So
Sorry, go ahead.
So, like, do you have, what is your experience with the plant-based diets? What tips do you have to increase the amount of plant-based foods in your diet?
So we'd like to open this up to everyone right now for discussion. So Mariana, do you want to go ahead and speak this?
Sí. Ahora vamos a tener un momento de discusión y estas son las preguntas que nos invitan a responder. ¿Cuál es tu experiencia con las dietas a base de plantas? ¿Y qué consejo tienes para aumentar la cantidad de alimentos de origen vegetal en tu dieta?
Okay, so does anyone have any experience with plant-based diets? Is there anyone here who actually practices plant-based diets?
Any questions or like, any suggestions or like any opinions? Like, yeah, it's a floor for to open up your like thoughts, everything.
Siéntanse libres de opinar, de quitarse el mudo en el Zoom y participar como si han experimentado estas dietas en su vida.
Is there anyone in here who tries to eat more plants in their diet in general? Oh, I see Mariana, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to participate a little bit. Before I became pregnant, 1 year before I became pregnant for the first time, I tried the veganism for 1 year. So when I found out I was pregnant, even I wasn't following a diet where I was checking the vitamins or nutrients that I was getting from this vegan diet. So the doctor just asked me to go back to my regular diet, just to stop the veganism and because of the pregnancy. So just to make sure I was getting everything I needed. But I would like to go back and try again the vegan diet.
I see Lucy has raised her hand.
Sí, ¿sí me escuchan?
Sí, adelante, Lucy.
Solo quiero hacer un comentario. Mi nombre es Lucila Martínez. Acerca de las plantas, yo he tenido una experiencia pues, de mala alimentación en los pasados años, y el año pasado, pues año con año que iba a mi doctor me decía que estaba sobrepeso, necesitaba bajar y hacer más ejercicio. El año pasado me decidí porque yo ya estaba a un punto, porque me dijo tenía 6.4 para agarrar la diabetes. Entonces dijo, o bajas de peso o te voy a dar medicina. No sé si alguien puede traducir, por favor.
Could you translate that, please? Either
Yeah.
Amelia or Mariana.
Yeah, what Lucy was saying is that she's had a bad experience with the way the way her diet was going, because of when she went to the doctor told her that she was overweight and that she was pre-diabetic. So if she didn't change her eating habits, that way she can lose some weight, that he was going to prescribe her some medications.
Así que tomé la decisión de hacer un nuevo cambio de alimentación. Estuve como 3 meses siguiendo paso a paso la nueva forma de comer a base de plantas. Yo no conocía la cúrcuma, todo tipo de plantas que han mencionado. Yo las usé y sí pude, casi cada mes pude bajar 10 libras, perdón, en total fueron 30 libras, acompañada de ejercicio. Entonces sé que las plantas puede ser como una medicina para nuestro cuerpo.
What Lucy's saying now is that she changed her diet for the better, and changed it to a plant-based diet. And before she wasn't really too familiar with the plant-based diet, but she got more familiar with some of the different kinds of like plants that you can eat on a plant-based diet. So she said in total she was able to lose 30 pounds, and she said that that helped her a lot in her journey, eating a plant-based diet.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Moria, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I think some people know that I eat a completely plant-only diet. I don't eat any meat or milk or cheese or anything like that. And I think some people know that because I've talked about it before at La Mesa Verde, and I'm always really happy to have this topic included because I think it is the most important thing for people's health is actually food. So I use a lot of herbs and I know about herbs, but I think that the actual food that we eat is one of the main things for our health. And I'm not sure what else to say about it. I eat a lot of green vegetables and potatoes and rice and all different kinds of grains. Right now, I just cooked a pot of artichokes and a pot of quinoa.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Migdalia has her hand up as well.
Buenos días, ¿cómo están? Muy complacida de escuchar estos comentarios o esta información muy nutritiva. Estoy muy feliz y escuchar las experiencias también. Creo que es un gran aporte que hace la Mesa Verde al compartir todos estos conocimientos, y para mí es un tema de pronto de conocer más sobre esta cultura de los alimentos aquí en los Estados Unidos, que me parece muy interesante, y voy a estar al pie de escuchar sus consejos. Pues tengo todavía obesidad, pero la he mejorado muchísimo. Nosotros en nuestro país manejamos es por kilos, y yo estaba en 110 kilos, esos son más o menos 220 libras. Hoy en día estoy en más o menos en 170 libras. He bajado bastante, pero es precisamente la alimentación, la buena alimentación. Y quiero seguir aquí en el grupo, pues porque me va a ayudar demasiado a sembrar, a cultivar estos productos y consumirlos ya después como una dieta saludable. Y para mí el ejercicio es fundamental. Por eso es relevante en mi trabajo que hago actualmente. Aprovecho todo el tiempo de caminar. Dejo el carro lejos para recoger o tomar cualquier actividad que haga. Y los jueves y sábados comparto un deporte muy bonito que es el baloncesto. Lo jugamos demasiado, 3 horas a veces nos damos los que estamos muy motivados y amamos el baloncesto. Entonces, muchísimas gracias a ustedes, a la Mesa Verde, por compartir esta experiencia, y a la señora que habló anteriormente, gracias por compartir su experiencia. Es muy bonito uno escuchar y saber que cada uno queremos superarnos y darnos esos espacios para aprender más. Muchas gracias.
Amelia or Mariana, would you
Do
be
you want
able
to go ahead, Amelia?
You can go ahead, please.
Ok, sí. Bueno, lo que estaba compartiendo la señora Moria es que ella come, su dieta es basada solo en plantas, come muchos vegetales verdes, papas.
Miriam,
Sí.
you have to translate in English, right?
Yeah, so Mariana is doing the Spanish translation of the English for Moria, and then she's going to do Migdalia.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Entonces comió en su dieta, también come arroz, quinoa, y está muy feliz y quiere compartir que los problemas de salud siempre son basados en tu dieta. Entonces, tener esto presente y que esta dieta es basada solo en vegetales, para ella ha hecho una gran diferencia. Ahora, for Migdalia, Migdalia shared with us that she was very happy and very proud of La Mesa Verde talking about this topic of health and plant-based diets. She she thinks or she shares that there is obesity in her family and for herself. And now she's happy learning about how plant-based diets work here in America, and she wants to continue learning, and she wants to continue attending La Mesa Verde workshops because this motivates her to continue in getting a better diet. Also, she's very active since her work with this work that she does for a living. She takes any opportunity to leave the car further from where she has to go, so she can walk a little bit. And also, she's very active playing basketball with other people. So before, when she was living in her hometown, she was like 220 pounds. And since she moved here and she's more conscious about her diet and her physical active, she's now 170 pounds. Good job, Linda.
Okay, would anyone else like to say something? Was that a majority of the people? I see there's Heather, Lucy's already said so, Yolanda, Sandra, Lourdes.
Hi, everyone. I
Oh,
want to provide.
I hear someone speaking, but there's a lot of noise.
Sandra, it's Sandra.
Okay, Sandra, go ahead.
Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Um, well, I have been trying to eat more vegetable. I stopped eating like meat, red meat, since like many years ago. And I stopped it because I was having a lot of pain in my joint. So that's why I decided to stop eating red meat. I have been trying down to eat chicken, but it's been hard for me because when I try to cook more vegetables, like on my family, uh, they don't like them. Like they they don't like to eat vegetables every day. So it's kind of hard for me to include my kids, especially when they are going to school and they have lunch there and they eat there. So it's been difficult for me. But I've been trying to even remove milk, cow milk. I have been trying to do almond, oat, and step by step. But something that is really hard for me is cook vegetable, like how to cook in a different way the vegetables, so my kids can love them and they can start eating more vegetables. They eat them, but they don't eat like as much as I do. So I think like it will be a good point to have some workshops where we can share the way like different people cook the vegetables.
So I'd like to say something about that. I know that we need translation for this, but I'd like to say something. We are going to make the announcement about putting together a recipe book for La Mesa Verde and how we can use the vegetables coming out of our garden. So that is definitely something we are working on. So if you have any good recipes, send a message to Riley. She's the one that's leading that. So thank you. If you could have translation, please.
Sorry, I want to do it, but every time I want to, the baby just starts being fussy. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. Don't worry. Mariana, would you be able to help, please?
Sure. Yeah, sure. De hecho, Sandra, ¿puedes compartirlo en español? ¿Te gustaría? Ok.
Sí, ya lo digo en español. Yo lo que compartía es que desde hace mucho tiempo yo dejé de comer carnes rojas porque empecé a tener problemas de coyunturas. Entonces fue la decisión que yo tomé de dejarlas. No se me fue muy difícil, no se me fue muy difícil, pero lo que sí me está haciendo complicado es dejar de comer pollo. O sea, mi meta es dejar de comer carnes. Esa es una de mis metas principales. Y se me dificulta por mis hijos porque a ellos no les gusta estar comiendo vegetales todos los días. Entonces, pues sí, a veces dejo de cocinar pollo, por ejemplo, pues una semana, 2 semanas y después tengo que volverlo a incluir porque ellos pues lo solicitan. Yo estoy más a comer pescados, lo que son los mariscos, es lo que más cocino, pero tampoco puedo estar cocinando mariscos pues muy seguido porque también no es peligroso. Entonces, me gustaría a mí pues tener como recetas que otros pudieran compartirnos cómo cocinar los vegetales de diferente forma. Mis hijos sí se lo comen, pero sí se comen los vegetales, pero ellos odian tener que estar comiendo vegetales todos los días. Entonces, si hay una forma de cocinarlo de una manera agradable para ellos, a lo mejor pudiera ser más fácil. La leche también he estado dejando de consumirla. Consumimos la de avena y la de almendra. Y me gustaría también inclusive con eso aprender a hacer la leche de almendras y leche de avena, pero en casa, no tener que comprar. Entonces eso también ando buscando yo que alguien me oriente en ese proceso. Gracias.
Thank you, Sandra. Would anyone else like anything to say? I think this is going to be our last comment before returning to the main room. It looks like the other presenters are still within their presentation, so I think we have a little bit more time to discuss if we need to. I see Moria raised your hand, and then who else did? I can't see it. And Lourdes raised her hand. So Moria, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I wanted to just comment really briefly about the thing with children. I don't have children, but I wanted to comment that when you're changing foods, that it's super important to have lots of starchy foods like potatoes and sweet potatoes and rice and quinoa and barley and I know I'm missing some, but these kinds of starchy foods are a really important component of the diet, and a lot of times people really like these foods. Like people really like to eat potatoes, or they like to eat sweet potatoes, or squash. And it's not necessarily what we think of as vegetables, it's not like green vegetables. So just wanted to say that those might be, also things like oatmeal. There's like a lot of categories of foods that your children might like. And in case you haven't thought of these things, and also, I'm sorry, I keep going on. Also, legumes are really important. I know Sudha was talking about different kinds of lentils and beans. So some of these are very filling foods, and they're often foods that people enjoy eating. So make sure to include these when you're thinking about foods to add for your children. Thank you.
Yeah, chickpeas. The kids will love it. Like the chickpeas. Oh.
Oh, tips
I
with
can see.
chickpeas.
I can see.
Roasted chickpeas are so good with the right spices.
Oh, I might tell you a quick thing. My kids, they don't love they hate eating all the vegetables. But when it comes to zucchini boats, zucchini, we just put all these names. Oh wow, you have to present it. Present means like zucchini boats. Wow, what is the boats without water? Something like that. And I just put it. You just scrape it off in the middle of the thing, and you just put chickpeas, and you just put couple of you can say how can I say couple of herbs, and I throw some rice, and I just baked it. Oh my god, they don't even left anything for us. They're hungry caterpillars when it comes to the banana boats. It's really filling, not banana boats, sorry, it's zucchini boats. So zucchini, I'm going to add it. Thank you so much for reminding me. I'm going to add it in the recipe book.
Can we make time for translation, please?
Ok, I'm gonna go ahead. Solo que Moria estaba sugiriendo para motivar a los niños a comer más vegetales y más legumbres es que en el cambio de tu dieta, de la dieta para los niños, es que metas más papas o barley, otras legumbres como sweet potatoes y calabacita, y que también las legumbres como lentas y frijoles y garbanzos también llena el estómago de los niños también. Y lo que ahorita estaba compartiendo Sudha era que también otra forma de motivar a los niños a comer más vegetales y es haciendo la presentación del alimento. Era haciendo barcos, creando barcos usando la calabaza y llenarlo de vegetales, la misma calabaza, presentarlo como un barco, pero que dentro de este barco esté lleno de vegetales o de arroz o de frijoles y más ensalada. Y que vamos a tener el libro de la mesa verde lleno de recetas y que Sudha va a meter estas recetas en este libro.
Okay, I see that Lourdes had their hand up and then Heather.
Thank you. I really like everything that you're saying. I'm learning like every day with the group. I'm happy to be here. So what is my experience with plant spaces? Well, I can say that when I was a child, at home, we just eat 2 or 3 times meat per month. And I was happy, and I was happy to eating veggies and just less meat. But when I got married, that changed totally, because my husband family, they don't eat veggies, so it was a really conflict with me and my health. So now I'm facing problems with my liver, so I definitely need to change my diet completely. I need just eat veggies like I usually when I was a child, just veggies, fruit, and some meat that it doesn't have the fat. That's the problem that caused me pain in with my liver. So definitely hearing that everything, hearing that recipes, I was thinking, oh my goodness, how can I forget all the good recipes that my mom always do with the veggies? So now I'm trying to find more recipes, and I'm happy to hear that we had the book. And yeah, I think the best way that we can have a good health is be a vegetarian. So I really like to hear the presentation today. I can say in Spanish. Do you want?
Thank you, Lourdes. Yes, please.
Sure, you're welcome. Hola a todos, y estoy muy contenta de estar en el grupo, de estar escuchando la presentación. Realmente me recordó mi niñez. Cuando yo era niña, nosotros comíamos vegetales y tal vez unas 2 o 3 veces por mucho era carne al mes. Entonces, no sé, me trajo muchos recuerdos. Cuando me casé, esta dieta que yo llevaba, pues cambió, porque en la familia de mi esposo les gusta mucho la carne. Es poco los vegetales que comen, entonces realmente fue un conflicto para mí. Hoy día, desafortunadamente, tengo que estar sufriendo con problemas de hígado, también de la vesícula, y debo de cuidar eso. Tengo que regresar a esa dieta, vegetales, poca carne, ya sea blanca, de pollo o de pescado, pero que no tenga esa grasa que es lo que hace daño, que es lo que causa el dolor. Y obviamente los lácteos, no lácteos, nada de lácteos. Y aún sigo aprendiendo acerca de los lácteos, que estaba escuchando que al no comer lácteos también poco se come la miel. Entonces tengo que seguir aprendiendo. Me estoy contenta de escuchar que van a sacar el libro y van a poner todas esas recetas que ahorita que mencionó Sudha va de zucchini. Oh, Sudha, I love the zucchini. Yo necesito hacerlo. I need to prepare again that. I'm happy. Estoy muy contenta y gracias por esta oportunidad de seguir aprendiendo.
Thank you, Lourdes. Heather, would you like to go next? And then afterwards it's Yolanda, and then I think that will be our final comment.
Yeah, and I'll just add quickly. So I do eat mostly. I'm pescatarian. been vegetarian for a long time, and then added fish back to my diet because I like fish. I like protein, and yeah. So, but I left at Surah because not at you, but what you were saying, because if I try to feed my daughter chickpeas, like she will not eat chickpeas or quinoa, and I laugh because if I tried to put the chickpeas inside a zucchini, she would move out. Like she would not appreciate that at all. So, but I will say on the other side, I feel lucky in some ways because I did marry, my husband is very, loves his red meat, and he grew up in the Midwest, and so red meat has been a part of his diet, but I think he's been really, and he loves to cook. So he's been really challenged by the need to make more plant-based vegetarian meals. So he's actually done a lot of experimenting over the years with cooking lentils and beans and potatoes and finding ways that he can get protein without eating so much red meat. And he's actually appreciated that for his own health, because he knew he was on a track of, growing up where he did in a family he had a lot of red meat in his diet. And so he feels really positive about that change. But I feel very lucky that he just happened to be someone who was willing to take that on. So that's been really good for me to keep up my own plant-based diet and also add a lot of variety. And we look at a lot of vegetarian and plant-based cookbooks to get recipes. So I'm excited to get a new one from La Mesa Verde. So thank you.
Thank
I'm
you,
not going
Heather.
to translate.
Okay. Could we have translation, please?
Do you want to go, Amelia?
Yeah, sorry. Lo que estaba diciendo la señora, ¿cómo se llama? Disculpe. Heather. Es que ella le gusta comer muchos vegetales, pero que es difícil a veces porque su esposo de ella le gusta comer, tiene su propia dieta y come mucha carne roja, y también le gusta cocinar a él, pero a ella le gusta buscar muchas recetas vegetarianas y tiene muchos libros que contiene recetas de vegetarianas, y también va a esperar que salga el libro de recetas de la Mesa Verde también para ver qué tiene que ofrecer. And I'm sorry I didn't catch everything. If you want to add something, Mariana. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yolanda, you're next.
Thank you. I try to eat green vegetables because I had a problem with uric acid and cholesterol, and for that reason I changed my diet, and I'm very happy to see my plants grow. And I'm waiting for the recipe books too, because I don't know how to make more recipes for green vegetables. Y lo voy a decir en español, mi inglés es muy corto. Yo estoy tratando de comer vegetales verdes porque tuve que cambiar mi dieta porque yo tuve problemas con ácido úrico y colesterol. Y yo estoy muy emocionada de estar viendo mis plantas crecer porque aparte de que son orgánicas, pues no es más rico cortar tu vegetal y llevarlo a tu mesa, tiene otro sabor diferente. Y estoy esperando el libro también porque me gustaría saber más recetas sobre los vegetales, cómo prepararlos. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everyone so much. We are at 12:01 right now. So what we're going to do is go back to the main room. There is a survey specifically for the Food as Medicine workshop that we just did. So Riley will be posting that into the chat once we're in the main room. But please take a couple of minutes to actually fill that out. We'll take about 5 minutes to fill it out, rejoin the rest of the group, and finish up with the last announcements for this workshop. Okay, but thank you so much, everyone. This was a great discussion. I personally learned a lot, even just helping make some of these slides. So I'm hoping that all of this is very useful and that everyone here learned a little bit more today about the benefits of plant-based eating. So thank you so much, everyone.